Hey everyone, this is Liz, and today I'm going to talk about how I discovered activities that actually energized me. Or, if I really want to get real, how I discovered activities that kept me out of the fridge. That Ben and Jerry's. Can't do it. Can't do it to myself. So before I start, please excuse the geeky wall coverings. Although, I mean, who doesn't love Game of Thrones? And I can only say that I've just recently jumped on the Doctor Who bandwagon, so I'm not going to try and claim that. I'd like to talk about my process for trying to figure out what activities or hobbies really sort of energize me, which things that I can do that helps me to get lost in it. I couldn't really figure out easily what the things were that I like to do, and I'm gonna warn you, this video might get a little hipster dipster, so bear with me till the end. Bear with me. So I first started off by getting certified in Myers-Briggs, and so I took a test to kind of figure out, all right, well, where am I falling on the spectrum of personalities, and what are some of the interests and strengths and weaknesses that are in alignment with my personality type. So for my Myers-Briggs type, I usually test as an ISTJ. However, and I know this is not supposed to happen that often, but the very last time I took the test, which was actually when I was being certified, I actually tested as an INFJ. Which was very strange to me because I never tested like that before. Although, when you're taking the test, you are supposed to be in more of a relaxed mindset. You're supposed to think about, what you do usually. You're not supposed to be heavily thinking about it. It's supposed to get to your root core question, your root core answers to these questions. However, I was going through a difficult, challenging time in my life previously, and when I had taken the test, I'm pretty sure that the mindset I was in had a little something to do with it. Listen, 2018, I'm just gonna throw this out there, was a crazy year. It was one of the hardest years of my life, but also one of the most revealing years of my life, but there's not enough time to go there. So anyway, I ended up testing completely differently. Now, the neat thing about Myers-Briggs that you learn if you actually kind of go through, if you actually take the legitimate test that you pay for and complete the step 2 portion of it, is that you can get even more in-depth information based off of how you test versus how you actually identify. When you're taking a test, you're supposed to be taking it with a certified practitioner who actually can help you verify the information that you receive. So you're not just passively receiving this interpretation of who you are. You actually have to co-sign what it says about you. And so the way you co-sign it reveals even deeper layers to who you are. So even though I tested out of the blue as an INFJ, when I confirmed that no, I am definitely most of the time an ISTJ, it revealed even further layers to my personality. So that was one starting point for me, Myers-Briggs personality assessment. Another sort of starting point for me was, and this is again, you might get a little hippy-dippy, but bear with me, is astrology. So I don't read too much into horoscopes and things like that. I mean, we're all definitely the masters of our destiny and how we want to go about this world. I focus mainly on my sun sign versus my moon signs. So my sun sign is Capricorn. I was born in December. For Capricorns, it's an earth sign, and so you're very much a practical, kind of concerned with material things, and you're a hard worker. Things like this are kind of fall into the lines of Capricorn. Very dependable, reliable, pragmatic people, sort of your salt of the earth types of people. So it was very much closely connected to my ISTJ Myers-Briggs personality results. However, my moon sign is Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius people love adventure. They love to have fun, but they also love knowledge. They love obtaining information. They love obtaining wisdom. Oftentimes, these people can sometimes be drawn to the field of teaching. Even though I had always noticed that my sun sign, my Capricorn, my Myers-Briggs ISTJ was very much apparent all throughout my career, I never really saw how I let my Sagittarius moon shine through, and I always thought it was pretty random. And then to top it all off, when I tested as an INFJ, I really was wondering what was going on. what is in there? What's really happening? I decided to really take a step back and look at further information to see if there were any other connections. So, these personality assessments and astrology and whatever, or if you're into Enneagram, whatever it is that you do, I would always suggest not taking it 100% as concrete, this is the answer no matter what. I would definitely suggest making sure that you do a little bit more research, dig a little bit deeper, look at some of the other types, signs, preferences, and see if there are some similarities in there as well. We all have a little bit of everything in us, but we're hardwired to have a little bit more of certain things in us. And in order to really achieve full balance, we should really take a look at ways that we can expand those other areas of our life that we might not be fully immersed in. So when I really took a look at things, I realized, well, Sagittarius moon, INFJ, I really enjoy the arts. I love to watch dance. I love to dance. I've always loved writing. I've always had to write for school or for work about subjects that I did not care about at all. And so in that regard, it was always just a tedious task for me. And I think it was because I always had to write about something I didn't want to write about. That changes things. I've loved just the arts. Like, I've found some super inspiring YouTubers out there. And, I'll link to their channels below as well, so you can kind of see some of the things that are out there. But I'm definitely new to YouTube and definitely new to this space of digital storytelling. But I am just blown away by some of the things that people can create using cameras and editing. And I just think it's fantastic and beautiful. And I'd love to learn more and grow in that. And these things that I'm attracted to, they aren't necessarily connected to my Capricorn or my ISTJ side. But that's where I'm finding right now, especially during this crazy time, outlets for being able to creatively express myself, as well as to pass the time in fun ways that I've never passed the time before. So starting this channel, trying to share some tidbits or things that have helped me and might help someone else out there. Writing more, writing about topics that actually interest me, that I care about. And it's actually been really fun. So honestly, I would highly suggest taking a personality assessment like Myers-Briggs or even a free one that you can find online. I'll link to some things below in the description box. Dare I say, take a quick peek at your sun and your moon sign, and see if there's anything that sounds familiar, see if there's anything that sounds not familiar at all, or anything that seems odd or weird or different, and give it a try. See what you like to do. I can also say too that I feel another reason why it was really difficult for me to clearly figure out what it is that I like to do is that oftentimes in articles that I've read, people say, well, go back to the things you enjoyed in childhood, and whatever you did for fun when you were a kid, that is what, that's a good way to start. And I feel like from what I can remember, most of my childhood was filled with trying to just succeed. It was based off of doing my homework and getting good grades, I could get a good job to be in a better financial situation, especially being a Black woman and just understanding that you have to work 100 times harder than everyone else around you to succeed and to be ahead and to stay ahead. I think that drilled into me at a young age that your success and your job and how much money you make is what proves to the world that you have value. And oftentimes, as women of color, we feel like we have so much more to prove. So, looking to the childhood wasn't too helpful for me. But when I think about the things that I got compliments on, that I didn't really pay too much attention to back then, but it was often my writing, my ability to public speak, or how I read the church announcements, odd stuff that people just always just brought to my attention. So maybe think about some of the things in your past that people always brought to your attention. But just remember that this is a time for exploration. Your journey is what you make it. So what you really should just pay attention to is whatever you decide to try. There are no right or wrong answers. Just pay attention to how you feel. Listen to your body. Listen to your gut. Really get to understand how you feel when you're doing something. Are you lost in it? Do you feel energized? Do you feel a little glow in your breastplate? That's how I feel like spark joy feels like a little glow in my breastplate. But pay attention to your body. I think that a lot of the healing we need and more of the understanding that we have about ourselves comes from really paying attention to our biology and how we feel. So with that being said, I hope that this information is helpful. I hope that you continue to explore different possibilities, especially during this time. We need as much positivity and helpful energy as we can get to stay connected with ourselves and with each other. And, I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors with that. If you're new to my channel, then I would highly recommend checking out my first video that talks more about canceled plans and enjoying the journey. I think that starting with that video will definitely help some of you to kind of help with the feels of this being a really sucky time right now, and then get into what can I do to turn things around a little bit for me now. Whatever you decide to do, I hope that your future is filled with more energizing and empowering activity. So, with that being said, until next time, adios.